Welcome, everyone, to episode 3 of Under the Influence. We're here with Duane Rankin, who is an esteemed sports journalist with over 2 decades of experience in the industry. His expertise spans across college football, college basketball, the NFL, the NBA, with a special focus on NBA coverage in recent years. Currently serving as the Phoenix Suns insider for the Arizona Republic since September 2018. Duane has become a vital source for in-depth analysis and insider information on the Suns. His role combines comprehensive reporting with a keen understanding of basketball dynamics, making him a trusted voice among NBA enthusiasts. So before his current role at the Arizona Republic, Duane sharpened his journalistic expertise at the Montgomery Advertiser, and in early career roles covering college sports, including stints as a Clemson beat reporter and a West Virginia University basketball beat writer, laying the foundation for his extensive knowledge in sports journalism. Duane's journalistic achievements are well recognized, marked by numerous awards, including the Story of the Year from the Alabama Press Association for his coverage of Barack Obama's Bloody Sunday speech, along with various honors from Associated Press sports editors, from the Associated Press sports editors, such as third place for best columns and a first place multimedia award. In our interview, we'll uncover Duane's path to journalism, his rise to his current role, and his strategic use of social media to enhance his influence in the field. Duane, thank you so much for joining us.
No problem. No problem. Thanks for having me.
So, Duane, can you tell us about your early influences and what led you to sports journalism?
Early influences, Sports Illustrated. I played sports in high school, but I played sports my whole life and was fascinated with pictures of seeing sports athletes in Sports Illustrated. And then I started reading the stories, and then I became interested in writing about sports athletes. And it kind of just started from there. People like Ralph Wiley was like maybe the first person I read, and I was like, who is that? And then once I found out who he was and saw someone who looked like me doing that for a living, I thought, well, okay, this might be something I can do for real. But I was an artist. I wanted to be an artist. Draw. I drew everything. And then I had 10th grade, I had a teacher, Miss Mackey, and she wasn't a fan of my work. And so I got a little frustrated with the grades I was getting in that class and shifted. And I stayed shifted into writing instead of drawing. And the rest is history.
So, how did you get your early starts? Like, how did you break into the career that you're in?
Okay. I went to Marshall University. That's in Huntington, West Virginia. I was in the School of Journalism there, and got into working for the newspaper, school newspaper, through through a class. And this was after high school when I worked for the school paper in high school, but college is a different deal. So I'm working for the school paper within a class, and then I applied for an internship through SJI, which is Sports Journalism Institute, and they were looking to to get minorities and women into the business. And so from there, that was the first time experiencing something like that, where I thought, okay, and you're around, it was like 20 of us, and you're around aspiring journalists, people who believe that they can do the same thing that you're trying to do, and I held my own in that world. And it was ran by Leon Carter and Sandy Bailey, who are world renowned as far as their journalism. They won the Red Smith Award. Their SJI is still going strong, and with one of their alum being Malika Andrews. She's one of the latest ones to come through there. And I was I was in the first class to go through. And so from there, once I got into that, I went back to school a lot more confident that I can do this for a living. And I was a sports editor for the school paper. Then I got another internship with the Charlotte Observer. And then from there, I got my first job in Marietta, Georgia. And it was part-time $10 an hour, 30 hours a week, working 60 hours a week, but only getting paid for 30 hours a week, covering high school sports. And but that was the best thing for me because I learned what I was good at. I learned what I needed to get better at. I had a very stern editor who would tell it. He was the keep it real editor, and so I went from everyone, oh, you're great, you can write, to like, no, you suck. so 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 that was good. That was good for me to get that punch in the face early, to know what I needed to do better, to be better at, and it's just gone from there. But that was the early stages of my career.
So you mentioned that there were some things that you were good at and then some things that you needed to improve on. What were the things that you were good at and what did you need to improve on according to your editor?
Just he just thought that I was, when you like to think when you're talented and you're able to do something, but you can be sloppy, and your talent is overcomes that, where people are reading the words and it's like, oh, it flows well, but then it's not necessarily how the structure, it was structure in the story. Okay, this is what you put here, this is how you write this here, this is how you um, make your point. Those kind of things that I needed to get better at, and I needed to be just sharper. And that was the things that he harped on with me all the time, like sharper, better, be, understand what you're trying to do. And you can write all day, but writing a story is completely different. And you have to tell a story, and being able to do that was things I needed to get better. I was good at interviewing people. I was good at getting information out of people, but then it becomes, how do you apply that information that you got out of somebody into a story format? And that was the hurdle, the initial hurdle that I needed to cross. And once I crossed that and figured out how to write newspaper stories instead of just being someone who could write, then then that was a turning point in my career.
What was your first big break in your career after starting out?
And I don't know if there was such thing as at least for me, I don't know if it was a big break. I think it's my career has been more of a gradual deal, with ups and downs, peaks and valleys. But if I had to just look at just, I guess possibly the first job, I would say once I got my second job, because the first job I had a couple of interviews. I interviewed Lou Holtz, I interviewed Joe Paterno. So those were names, and so you're like, those are names. But I was still mostly covering high school and small college. But when I got my next job, helping, and I started off doing high school stuff, but then I started being like a sidebar writer, or it would be like the sideline reporter for television, um, covering University of Tennessee football. And I wasn't the main guy. I was a sidebar guy, and that's when Peyton Manning was there, and you knew how big Peyton Manning was. And so when you're able to, and my job was to cover the local players from that went to TUT. That means like the paper was Jackson Sun, so it's Jackson, Tennessee. So they had several guys from that area that played for Tennessee at that time. Trey Teague, Al Wilson both played in the NFL. Chad Clifton played in the NFL. So I was getting some decent stuff out of them because, like, okay, these guys are really good. They're starting. But then every once in a while, we get a chance to talk with Peyton Manning. And you're like, okay, I'm talking to Peyton Manning. I'm talking to the arguably the best college player and arguably the best college quarterback to ever play, with the numbers he put up. So those moments, I distinctly remember one time I got asked to go down and get a quote from him. From my main editor was like, I need you to go down and get a quote. Because back then, see, people don't understand. Like back then, if you worked for a newspaper, you were on deadline. You had to have it in by a certain time. And the backup guy would go and get that kind of stuff. He would go get a quote or go get a stuff. It wasn't like go write something. It was go get a quote. And I went downstairs to the field. Tennessee was playing at Arkansas. And I'm down there, and Peyton doing an interview, a TV interview. And so after it was over, and his guy was like, "Yo, Peyton, we gotta go." I said, "Hey, Peyton, I just need to ask you a couple of questions." He goes, "If you can ask and run with me, yeah." So he took off running. I took off running. I'm holding the tape recorder like this while he's running. I got my two questions in, got answers, went back up to my boss, gave him the quotes, and then I look back on that now. I'm like, that was fun. It's like you're young and you're trying to make an impression, and he don't know who you are, and Peyton Manning, he don't know who you are, but he gave me some time, even though we were running, and I kept up with him. Not that he's fast or anything, but it was easy to do that. But it was fun doing that. That was one of those where you call back home and you say, hey man, I talked to Peyton Manning. I was running with him. So those kind of moments make you feel like, okay, this is what this feels like. This is what this is, the adrenaline rush of doing something that no one else can say they can do. Like there's a stadium filled of people, but I'm the only one that was able to do that. And so those kind of moments, and then on from there, you're covering major college football. You're going to the Orange Bowl. Then you're covering major college basketball. You're going to conference tournaments, and then you're covering some NFL, and you're seeing the Patriots and Tom Brady, and then you're going to Cavs, and you're seeing LeBron James, his first run with the Cavs. So you're starting to get those kind of like wows, where you're like, wow, I just saw LeBron James score the last 25 points in the game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals at Detroit against the Pistons. You're literally there covering that. So those are like monuments, but in between that, it's all work. Like you still have to work, you still have to grind, and you still have to be good at this, because you can have all these moments. If you're not good, then you're not going to have many more of those moments. You're going to be out of there, out of the profession.
So you were like covering the NFL and the NBA. What led you to kind of like specialize in focusing on the NBA?
It's all about opportunity for me. I've never been afraid to try something else. NFL was more covering games. I wasn't literally covering the NFL. NBA, I covered Cavs games when LeBron was playing, but I wasn't covering the Cavs. And then college football the next year. I mean, after I left Erie, and then I went to Montgomery, and you're covering Alabama football, Nick Saban, they're winning national championships. You're seeing Tua, you're seeing Jalen Hurts, you're seeing Derrick Henry, and you're covering Auburn, and they're playing for a national championship. So you're seeing that, and I did that for 5 years, and I could have easily kept doing that, but it was an opportunity that presented itself to cover the NBA on a regular basis and cover an NBA team. And I say this all the time about when you're working in this profession, you don't ever pick a job because the team is bad or good. You pick the job for an opportunity. And the Suns were a bad basketball team when I started covering. They won uh, uh, 19 games the first season I covered them in 2018-19 season. 19-63 was their record. 2 years later, they were in the finals. So, so those were like, the opportunity presented itself. I thought it over, because I could have covered college football, kept doing that. But I thought it over, and I said, okay, I may never get this chance again. And it was something I felt like doing. And so I just jumped on it, and been doing it ever since.
What is it about basketball that is so interesting to you? Like why basketball specifically?
I mean, when you grow up kind of playing it a little bit, I wasn't a great player. I was barely a decent player, but I enjoyed competing, and I enjoyed the game, and I enjoyed watching the game, and so it's always been the sport of choice for me. And so it was, you're looking at guys that are able to do things that that other athletes envy. Like Kyrie Irving's ability to handle the ball and get to the basket. The NFL guy is sitting there going, "I wish I could do that." I mean, you have the greatest NFL athlete ever, and I don't know if they can do what Kyrie Irving can do, or what LeBron James can do, or be 6'11", 7 foot like Kevin Durant, play the way he does, or play like Giannis, or be Embiid, or be like Jokic, so big and mobile and hits ridiculous shots and rebounds and triple double. I mean, it's just like they're the most unique athlete on the planet, and over the history of time. And so, to me, that's always been the draw for me. Is like, how does you be? How does you're seeing great athletes. B, you're seeing how do they work together. Those years that go, the years of this Golden State dynasty, it's incredible to watch, to see that, to see how Steph Curry and what he's been able to do with that team and the team they put together and over the years, and how they won game with a system, and him becoming a superstar in this league. It's like that's fun to watch. Even and then obviously covering the Suns, you're seeing like, okay, they went from the bottom to the finals in 2 years. Like that's good stuff. And then it's continued to be, because you're seeing what they're gonna do next. Can they get back there? New owner. There's the beauty of basketball, and the beauty of what we do for a living is there's a story every day, and it's always changing. You can't beat that, being in a situation where every day something new could possibly happen. And so that to me, that's always been the joy of covering sports, but the NBA in particular. It is constantly something's happening, and you never can lack information or news to follow or news to cover when you're covering an NBA.
Wow. So, what's life like as an insider? Can you tell us a little bit about how that works, and if it's very different from your previous roles as a journalist?
I mean, when you're covering the NBA, if you're covering a team on a day-to-day basis, you're traveling with the team. You're you understand that it's a grind. Like, this is not something that you know you just do just to be doing. Like, you have to understand things. Like, even for example, like when they had a 2-game road trip, they played the Lakers the second game, and the game was a late game, and so my flight was at 6 in the morning. So it was a late game, late finish. You have to write, and you get back to the hotel, and it's 2 a.m. Your flight's at 6 a.m. And you're like, you're not gonna sleep, And I might be exaggerating 2 a.m. Let's just say midnight, just to keep it, so people don't think I'm absolutely nuts. But as the job is absolutely nuts. Let's just say midnight. You got 4 hours, so you got to make a decision. Am I gonna sleep for 3.5 and get up, or am I gonna just stay up, make sure I get to this flight on time because you're in LA, and then you still got to work that day. Like, you don't go back home and you know take the day off. You don't do that. And so that's the example of that has nothing to do with writing. I tell young people in the profession all the time, if it was if doing this job was just about writing, it'd be a bunch of English professors doing it. But that's not it. You have to know news. You have to sniff out news. You have to be able to understand what is a story, what isn't a story, what's a good story, what's a great story, and what's oh wow, I got to do this right now story. And so there's a lot that goes into this, and you have to have a certain level of energy to do this, and then you got to be able to understand that what, just gut it out. Got it out. There's road trips that I've been on where I'm running on fumes the last 3 games. But The train got to keep moving forward. You still got to be alert. You still got to be sharp. You still got to do your due diligence. You still got to talk to people. You still have to do all those things as part of what we do. If you're not communicating with other people, if you're not, you know, your social skills, your people skills, all that's got to be there. It can't just be you and this. It can't be this hermit sitting around not communicating with people. You know, your job is to figure out why, because that's what the reader wants to know. The reader saw the game. They got the stats. They have an idea of why the game went the way it went. They want to know why that happened. And they want to know why that didn't happen. And they want to know why that shouldn't happen. They want to know why, how come that happened. You know, they want those answers. And when you're an insider, your job is to get those answers. And so that's how I look at it.
So you've been a successful journalist for a while, and you've had like 2 decades of experience in this industry. And so you've had like a career before social media, and now you have a career with social media. Can you talk about the role that social media has played in your career and how, and the transformation of your account and how it's grown since you first started?
I mean, I wasn't necessarily a fan of social of Twitter when it first came out. Someone literally begged me to do it. It was like, you need to get on there. And this was years ago. And I was like, I'm doing nothing for me. And they were like, no, man, you need to do this for, just for your career to start off with. And then over time, you do start to see the importance of it. You start to see, okay, this is how you get your word out. This is how you become more established. This is how uh, someone sees you a certain way now. They say, okay, I'm going to him for the answers. I'm following him for the answers. I trust that he's going to give me the answers. I like his content, or I don't like him at all. I'm gonna follow him anyway just to mess with him. It's like you have it ranging from all areas, but as far as helping your career, it just helps you establish who you are, and you can show your personality on there. If you want to, you do control what you want to put out. But you do get the chance to show you're just more than just a journalist. And for me, I like to, for me, as far as doing it, I like to put people put the reader and the audience in a place that they can't be. And like last year, like a couple years ago, I would say, when the Suns they won the most games they had won in the franchise history, 64 wins. Well, JaVale McGee was on that team, and the Suns pregame huddle was must-see television. You had DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges, and Cam Payne just completely doing outrageous stuff, dancing, little sign. Everybody had a little personal handshake with each other, and people had heard about it. They knew about JaVale and how he was, but then once I videoed it and then tweeted it out, then it was like became every game. Hey, Duane, you gonna shoot him? I'm like, I can't do every one of them because some of the arenas don't let you in that space that they're in, and sometimes if they're out in the open, then they will. So it was those kind of things where I like to put the audience, uh, the readers, the followers, in places that they can't be, in places they would want to be. And that's one of the ways of doing that. And so when you're providing them content that they've never seen or they've been wanting to see, then you become someone that they want to really that they want to that they're following you more because you're giving them stuff that they can't get nowhere else. And so then once I figured that out, then I thought that the interviews became more important to video, because then you could get something to them fast, and then they can see what Devin Booker said or what Damian Lillard said about somebody on the Suns, or said period. So you're able to get those things out, and then once you if you break a story or something like that, and you tweet it out, and it's like, oh, okay, you know, which is I'm not breaking everything, but I'm breaking some things, and so they see that, then then it becomes them wanting to, they trust you, they're trusting your word, and so that's how you're building a rep in a way that, okay, this is what he does. This is what, if I'm following him, this is what I know I'm gonna get from him. And I like that, to make that a constant. Okay, this is what you expect out of me, or this is what I like to. And sometimes it doesn't always go hand in hand. Most of the time it does. And so there's fun in that. And I've gotten more and more into Instagram now. I'm figuring out ways to manipulate the video, how to take it from here to here, sort of fit on your phone. And it's fun learning how to do stuff and how to add this and add that, and then you can incorporate it in your stories. And so it's all it's more and more. I learn more and more every day about how to use social media, and that's intriguing to me.
In your opinion, how has social media changed the sports landscape, the sports media landscape?
I mean, it's made people millionaires. it's made people millionaires. It's made people famous. People who you don't, and again, I came from a time when I came out, it was like you had to go to college to do this. You don't have to go to college to do this anymore. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think that if you're talented enough and you're good enough, then you ought to be able to be able to have that opportunity to do what we do. But what it's done is it's made people popular. It's made people rich, and it's made people have a say. Everybody has a say now. Before, you just leaned on like 4 or 5 people to get you information. Now there's far more than that can get you information. Now you still have to determine, okay, how valid is this person, or where is this person at, or what is this person really giving? But everybody has a shot now to express themselves and talk about sports now. All you need is a phone. And it's like everybody, because I hate to use that word everybody, because it makes like everybody, not everybody wants to do this. Everybody doesn't want to do this. But the people that do, or love talking sports, that was probably about 85-90% of those people who didn't have a voice, but they had a voice in their neighborhood, or had a voice in their community, or had a voice with their friends or whatever. Now everybody has a voice. Everybody. And so that's something that when I look at it, I'm like, wow, like sometimes you hear something, and even though I've been doing this for a long time, sometimes you'll hear something or read something like, oh, okay, that's interesting, and then once in a while, like, oh wow, that's pretty good. That's a good point there. And some of the stuff that you see is so now some of it is outrageous. Some of it's like, come on, man. But some of it is like the really high end, intelligent thoughts on sports. And the beauty of it is that now you can see what they have to say. I mean, like I'm in the business, but I'm not someone who's I'm not that guy that's like, I won't listen. No, I'm listening to everything. Because I think you can grab something from it. And so that I think is the biggest thing. Like everybody now has a voice, and I think that's cool.
How do you balance the immediacy of social media with the depth of traditional journalism?
I mean, you can always follow up. Like if I tweet out that somebody's hurt and they're not going to play, I don't have to leave it there. I can always write a story to follow that, which I do. You get the information out, right? Then you follow up with a story. Because people still want to know, okay, yeah, you're giving the immediacy, you're giving them what they want, like right now, but they want more after that. Because every time you do something like that, like if you say somebody, like even like Devin Booker when he came back, you tweet Devin Booker's going to play, you're going to get responses like, what's his minute restriction? Is he going to wear Is he going to wear that sleeve he been wearing in practice? Is he, stuff like that. Like they want to know that kind of stuff right away. So then you can follow up with a story to explain, answer questions, and also tell a story. So that kind of stuff, you just, you write you can tweet something out real quick, but then you can always follow it up. And that's what we do. We get it out and then we follow up with stories. Or we already got the story written, which, I and others do. We just tweet something out and then the story is coming like 2 minutes later. But it's already been written. It's already been done. And that's the thing that social media, can get you. You can follow up, you can write, then you can get on video if you want and explain it that way. Like there's so many options of how you can address subject matter. Whereas before you only had one option, and that was to write about it. Now you can write about it, you can tweet it, you can video, you can blog it, you can podcast, you can do all kinds of things with information, and it's consuming. People consume information. That's what we do. And so social media gives people the platform to do that.
Awesome. Well, I'd love to move to like some fun and games where we ask you like some questions about kind of who you think is trending. So as you know, like our platform, we track the NFL, the NBA, but we also track like specifically which teams are trending according to social media interactions. So can you name the top 5 NBA teams that have been talked about the most over the last 24 hours?
Warriors. I'm guessing, but I'm gonna say Warriors. Suns, probably because Booker and played. Lakers because LeBron always. Celtics, they just beat Philly, and Clippers because something's going on with Harden always. So I would say those 5.
Okay, you got 3. Lakers is 1, Mavs is 2, Clippers is 3, Rockets is 4, and Celtics is 5.
Rockets is 4. Okay.
This is just like over the last 24 hours.
Okay.
Okay, so then in a similar fashion, can you name the top 5 Twitter accounts for the Suns over the past 24 hours based on their social interactions?
Well, they hang on Booker's every word. So Booker, Durant, Eubanks, because he just had that dunk over Towns.
So these are like specifically like Twitter accounts or like Twitter influencers.
Are we talking the account, or are we talking about the number of likes or whatever?
The accounts themselves, the top 5.
I would say those 3, but I to go 4 or 5, I don't know.
Do you want another chance to guess who's number 1? You might know him a lot better than you think.
So Booker's not number 1?
No. He might be looking at you right in the face.
Who, Gordon?
It's you.
Oh, please.
Yeah, you're number one for the
That's
Suns.
not good. That's crazy. Wow.
How many individuals do you think have tweeted about the Suns in the last 24 hours?
Individuals. Uh, I'll say high. Well, I'll say mid five figures, maybe high five figures. What is it?
Uh, like low four figures.
Oh, low four figures. Oh, okay. I'm thinking too much of it then. Low four figures for the Suns.
Yeah,
Low four figures. So that's like 3,000.
1,878.
3,878. Okay.
1,000.
1,000. Oh, 1,000
Yeah,
in the last 24 hours.
yeah.
Wow. Okay. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's great. And then my last question is, who are the top 5 influencers for the NBA overall in the last 24 hours? Again, on Twitter.
Woj.
And these can include like official team accounts.
Oh, okay. Woj, Lakers. Sorry. Woj, Lakers. Clippers, because you said Clippers was in that. Shams is always a candidate. I'm gonna go with those 4 right now, and then if the Lakers is high, they're probably high because of LeBron. So I'm gonna throw LeBron in there as well.
So Shams is 6 and Woj is 7. In terms of the top 5 influencers for the NBA, it's the Cavs official account, Mavericks, Mavs_FFL, you, and Elliot Shore Parks.
That makes 0 sense at all. That doesn't make any sense at all. Like, I'm talking about me. I'm not talking about the rest of them.
Well, you post a ton, so that's also like why you get a lot of like social interaction.
That's a problem. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah. So now I'm going to invite Eric to come back on. He's a big NBA fan, and he's going to do just like some lightning round rapid fire questions with you. So as much as you can to try to just like answer as quickly as you can, just like off the top of your head, would be great. I'm going to take myself off so it can just be the 2 of you.
All right. Sounds good. I've been too long anyway. So, yeah.
Eric, can you take me?
Yeah. All right. Well, cool. As you said, we'll do your best to rapid fire these off, and looking forward to this one. But I'll start off with a hot take here. Who's your GOAT?
Jordan.
Will the new in-season tournament be a success?
Yes, because somebody gonna get paid at the end. So yeah, it'll be a success. At the end, it'll be a success.
Yep, agree with you there. And best NBA rivalry right now.
Wow. Any I don't know if there is one. Because when Dylan left Memphis, that took away a lot of rivalries. Yeah, I'm gonna say anybody who's playing the Warriors or the Lakers right now.
Fair. All right. After LeBron and Curry, who do you think will be the face of the NBA?
And when they leave, when it's over?
Yep.
Okay, Curry's probably got another 4 years, maybe 5 years. LeBron, maybe 1 more year. Wait for his son to get there. Okay, so in 5 years, I'm gonna say Wemby gonna be the face of the league.
Yeah. That's fair. Best NBA duo right now.
As much as I want to say, because I know some people gonna kill me. I could
That's the
easily
point,
say
right?
I can easily say Booker and Durant after what they did last night, but they're supposed to be a big three, so I'm not gonna say them because Bradley didn't play the last game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go Giannis and Dame as the best duo right now.
Okay. All right. How about better game atmosphere? Madison Square Garden or the Crypto.com arena?
It's Madison Square Garden because they booing
Okay.
to no end. Lakers fans don't really boo. They making, there's a lot of Hollywood in there, so they just sort of just kicking back, making deals, having fun. Garden got those hardcore
Yep.
basketball fans. So I'm gonna say the Garden. Yeah.
All right. A little bit different style here. Which rim would you rather choose to play on? A double rim or a rim with no net?
Oh, that's both of them are horrible. I'm gonna go. I like a net, so I don't like playing without a net. So I'm gonna go. Even though double rim gives you zero margin for error, I'm gonna go with that because of the net. So
all right,
double rim.
There you have it. High tops or low tops?
To play in, or just to have?
Preference or playing, whichever.
I mean, I only have one pair of high tops, and they're Jordans, and I hardly wear them because I think I spend too much money. I've spent so much money on them, I don't want to wear them all the time. So I'm gonna go low tops.
All right. Do you prefer a crossover or a step back?
Oh, I'm old school. Crossover. Tim Hardaway.
All right. Yep. Dunk contest or a 3-point contest?
Depends on who's doing the dunk contest. Right now, I'm a 3-point contest guy because it's just that's where the league is. The league is shooting threes, so when guys get in there, they put in the major numbers. So I'm gonna go with the 3-point contest.
All right. Favorite NBA mascot?
Some of these teams don't even have mascots. I don't feel like they do. I like the Cavs mascot, the dog. Whatever his moon dog.
Right.
He's off the charts. I like him. Yeah, or her, whoever that is.
One of them. Favorite NBA jersey design?
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm gonna go old. I'm gonna go old. Does it have to be current or old, or can it be any era?
Any era.
For some reason, the Sonic jerseys, the green and yellow Sonic jerseys, not the ones where they camped and like when they went to the finals. I didn't like those. There was a darker green. I'm talking about the bright with the city on it.
Like the Sonic.
Yeah. Love those. And I look at just really quick. I look at the newer jerseys now. I like the Celtics black and green jerseys.
The green Celtic lettering.
Right. Not everybody can. I mean, black is obviously a great color, but to have that green in there like that, those are sweet. I like those. I mean, and they're almost good enough for me to say that Tatum and Brown are the best duo, but they're not that good for me to go that far. But yeah, I love those. I love those jerseys.
All right, yeah, good answer. Most exciting young team.
Oh, OKC. Yeah, OKC's man, Shea and Chet, and those guys that they got on that team, Williams and Luke Dort, the football guy who's playing basketball, and Giddy and those dudes. Yeah. I like that. That's the most exciting young. I mean, the Kings could be in that, but they got some older. Like Sabonis is older, but that OKC team is a bunch of young guys, and they're the most exciting young team to me.
All right, best basketball movie of all time.
Wow. I'm not gonna say that. I was gonna say one, but I'm like, that's no, I'm not gonna go there. You can't go wrong with Hoosiers. You can't go wrong with Hoosiers. But I was Coach Carter is interesting, because Samuel Jackson plays the same role. He just screams at people, and he's screaming in this one. But it was interesting how they kind of put that together. But I mean, Hoosiers is a classic. Like, it just has so much in that movie. But Coach Carter is not in that group, but I just like that movie. But if I had to pick an all-timer, it would be Hoosiers.
All right. Just a few more here for you. Do you prefer the 1980s NBA or 2000s, or a more modern era?
'80s was. I mean, I picked Jordan, so I'm more of the '90s. But if I had to pick between 80s and today, I'm gonna go modern, just because, or more modern. Just because I think that the game has evolved, and it's not rough and tumble, and dudes ain't shooting a bunch of threes, and there's a lot of that going on. But the skill level is just in terms of what guys are able to do. And then I like to see who the next guy is. I mean, like, who's the next guy? Who's the guy that's coming in? Like right now, like I look at somebody like Tyrese Halliburton, like he's like, wow, like this is like he's got some 80s, 90s in him, being able to distribute, but then he's got some modern in him too, and he's slick with it. He can, he lookaways, and that's 80s, like that's 80s, 90s ball, but he's playing and excelling in a modern era. Like Anthony Edwards and some of these new guys that are coming in. I like to see that. Like, who's the next guy? Of course, Wemby is obvious, but so that to me makes me more towards the modern, because they've been influenced by that era, the era, like the early late 2000s. They've been influenced by that era, and that's Kobe. That's D Wade, that's Bron, that's those dudes. Those dudes have influenced these new guys, Steph. You know what I mean? So I like the more modern because of who they've been influenced by. And of course, those guys were influenced by guys in the '90s. So I like how the game. I like things to evolve, and the game has evolved. And seeing, I mean, I don't want to see him shoot all kinds of threes, but guys shoot it a lot better than they did in the '80s. That's for sure. Like he wasn't asking. I mean, now granted, there were guys that could shoot, but there's so many more guys now that can shoot. So, yeah, I'm gonna go modern.
All right, and last one, I'll give you a tough one here. Hope I don't get you in trouble. which Suns player should take the last shot to win the game?
It should be Booker. I mean,
Booker.
Kevin is an all-time great, top 75 player. Everyone knows his greatness. But it's Devin Booker's time to show the greatness. But that's a heck of a second option. You take the ball out of Booker's hands and he kicks it to Kevin Durant. That's a heck of a second option. But it's Booker's team. I mean, he was there when they were nothing, when they were struggling. He was there. He went through that grind. He went through the bad years. He went through the injuries. He went through the multiple coaching changes. He went through all of that to get to this point where now it's like, it's his team. So he should take the last shot and own and have the responsibility of that on his shoulders, because they come into play with him, So it's hey, run a play, get him open, and let him fire. And it's as Bradley Beal said, it's Book Nation. So Book Nation should be taking the last shot. Yeah.
All right, well, cool. Well, that's the end of those rapid fire questions. I'll bring Schiffer back up here and we'll end things off here.
Sounds good.